Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This week we are at Harleyford Golf Club. Now Harleyford Golf Club is the venue for Wilbur's first ever EuroPro Tour event, and we've come up here today to have a little practice round with him. Now you might have seen a little while ago we did a tour school thing for Wilbur where we were putting Will through his paces on the back nine of St Melian to see if he could get his tour card, which, as some of you may be aware of, Will did go on to get a category on the EuroPro. So I thought we'd come here today to have a little practice round with Will. I've brought Paul with us. My brother Paul played European Tour, played EuroPro. We're going to get an insight into this venue, and we're also going to get an insight into what Paul is thinking when he's playing this golf course. Now for this video we have teamed up with Bushnell, who have given us a couple of rangefinders to help us around this golf course. As some of you may be aware, the rangefinders are allowed to be used in the PGA Championship, which is going to be on at some point this week, and we thought we'd use them on our way around. Now Will is going to have an opportunity to use a Bushnell when he competes on the EuroPro. That was something that was brought into the EuroPro Tour many years ago now. Let's meet up with the boys. Let's find out what we're going to be doing today on the golf course, and see if we can get Will around this golf course in a position that will hopefully help him for his first round at EuroPro. Welcome to Harleyford Golf Club, boys. Wilbur,
Hello.
Are you feeling good?
Yeah, a bit cold.
First
but
event, how is that making you feel right now?
a couple of weeks away, yeah, just getting excited.
Yeah,
So we're up here early for a nice practice round. So
absolutely. And we've brought Paul up with us as well, because obviously Paul has a little bit of experience of playing a little bit of EuroPro, obviously European Tour, things like that. So hopefully you can help Will around as well. But we will, like most practice rounds, or most players playing a practice round, we'll have a little match. So we're going to have a match between you, all right? But we're also going to play this as a practice round at the same time. So you're going to have one ball in play at all times. It's playing against each other, but we're going to obviously play a few different types of shots out on the course as well, like you would in a normal practice round. Feeling good, Paul?
Yeah, ready.
Yeah?
Chief advisor.
So we're going to try and break this down so people can, obviously, a bit like what we did at Tour School.
Yeah.
We'll get a bit of an idea of what Will's going to do, and then obviously hopefully you'll be able to pass on maybe a few things that you've spotted with him on the way around, or maybe it's some extra advice that you might be able to help to get Will, you know, off to a good start in his first event, basically. Yeah. Okay, ready to go?
let's go.
Okie dokie. Right, Neil.
Done.
Caddy. Chief caddy. So you're going to be caddying for Will in the event, aren't you? So you've come up here today to help out as well.
Yeah.
So I'm going to need your help on the way around, just to sort of show us what we're going to be looking at trying to do and how we're going to play this course. Okay, you've got the map.
I have.
We've also got rangefinders with us today as well, so we've got the Bushnells with us, so we're going to use a bit of that as well, because you'll be able to use that in the event.
Okay.
But you're going to help us around today, talking us through what the hole's kind of shaped like and how it's going to work. All right, so what have we got down this first?
So the first, we've got a dog leg left, and it's straight into the teeth of the wind.
Okay.
A lot of room here, which obviously leaves a longer shot in. But we've got one big tree on its own here at 255.
Yeah. And you're going to try and get him to move it off
I want Will to move it right to left off that tree.
Okay.
The further left he goes, there's no issue here at all in this area.
Yeah.
Obviously, the further right you go, you're going to be a little bit blocked.
blocked out a little bit. Yeah. Okay. Right, Paul's going to take the honour.
Yep.
So we're on driver for Paul up the first.
Yeah.
Paul
straight into
the puff today. Yeah.
So
go for a little bit of draw.
not sure at the moment. I think
Wind
straight
into and off the left. The wind.
Fraction. Try and hit it straight and see what happens.
Yeah. Paul's natural shape is a little bit from right to left, so just up where big tree in the distance, and then turn it from there. Nice low ball flight. That's pretty much spot on. That just through the trees. Not sure yet. Just seeing that down there. Yeah, that's very good. Great shot that. So Wilbur wanting to sort of move it in a similar way. Neil's asked him to keep it down, starting on that tree and moving it from right to left.
Yeah. Good swing there.
Again, Wilbur's been pretty straight with this driver. New driver in the bag, so. Started it a little left of where he wanted, but that should be okay. It does, that's properly cutting the corner there.
Yeah.
Okay, boys.
I think that's okay. We'll
Should be alright.
find out.
We'll get going. So myself and Lester are going to be out on the golf course today just with doing a bit of filming, so we will be doing a little bit of commentary. So if you do hear us kind of talking right the way up to when they're hitting, I've got myself tucked in behind the camera. They're not sort of aware of what I'm doing, but I'm not interrupting their golf. So just a little note for you all. Paul, first hole. Right, what have you got into this first hole, Paul?
62 yards
62 yards
to the pin.
So a decent position, 62 yards left in.
Yeah.
You obviously had to deal with this tree a little bit to our right hand side, but off that tree with a little bit of draw was ideal.
Yeah, I think you can be a bit tighter down the left than I thought, because it's not, you know, we've never played this course before, so we're learning as we go.
Yeah.
The left, there are trees there, but it's not dead. I was
No,
kind
it's
of
not
looking
at all, is it? No, it's
off the tee, it looked like it might be almost lost golf ball because
Yeah.
the rough was so thick, but actually there's loads of room there, and if you miss it in there, every chance you're going to knock it, be able to chip something out.
So
onto
you're
the
just
green.
making yourself aware of that sort of
Yeah.
stuff as you're wandering round, just because then you can get a better line off the tee, but you're a bit more aggressive if you need to.
And also, this isn't the prevailing wind on this hole, so normally the wind is from the other direction, so we're playing straight into the wind today, so the carry over there is quite a big carry and it's quite a risk, but
Yeah.
I think on a normal day you could just blast it down the left and you wouldn't have any real trouble
No.
at all. So
Okay. Right, what have we got? 62, but club?
I'm just going to hit a little 52 because we're probably into about 30-40 mile an hour wind.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to flight it down a little bit, and I'm just off a bit of an upslope, so
Yeah.
it's going to be a little pitch for one of these.
Okay. Unfortunately, we're going to have some showers here today, and I'm going to try and keep this lens as clean as we possibly can. Looking sharp, coming in. Yeah, that'll be okay. Yeah, there's a bit of breeze. It picked up there just as that shower hit us. We're using Bushnell rangefinders today. Obviously, you've had a mixture, a bit of both, haven't you? Because obviously, when you play on the big events, European Tour, you have the books.
Yes.
Not to say you don't get the books in this event, but you have the option to use a rangefinder, Bushnell rangefinder we're using today.
Yeah.
Benefits, positives, negatives, what do you feel?
I much rather using a rangefinder.
Yeah.
It's just, it takes any doubt out, because I think when you're doing with the planner, you're always calculating the yardages, so you're picking up a point, then working it out, and there's always human error involved with that. So that's like when we've done our thing, we both do the yardages, and then we work out and make sure we both have the same number, because there can be errors, and they can be really costly if you get it wrong. So,
and for new players to the tour like Will, he's not going to be overly used to using books, is he?
No.
So having the option to use a Bushnell is quite important.
Yeah, I think the books come into their own. You know, if I was going to have a choice, I would have both. And I think the books are good for plotting where to hit the ball off the tee.
Yeah.
Because it shows, you know, it shows where bunkers are, it shows where carries are, blah blah. Certain things you can't pick up on a Bushnell. So I think you've got to be able to use both.
Yeah.
But I certainly would, if I'm hitting a shot into a flag, certainly be using the Bushnell and getting the exact number with that.
So good position, Wilbur, just on the left side of the fairway. Just chatting with Paul earlier. So we're definitely feeling that we can hug that left side, aren't we? You were a little bit further left.
Yeah, we've got a line. So over the tree, just left of the tees, the line. Obviously, it's into quite a wind. So normally, I'd probably sailed up there or even through the green. So I think the play is driver, because the areas around the green.
Yeah, you've got lots of space, haven't you, over there?
As long as you can fly the rough, you're okay.
Yeah. Okay.
The green.
What have you got in?
39 yards.
39 yards.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm really going to see some big gusts of winds here today, so it's going to play quite tough. Just a little 61-degree wedge. Played it nicely, just releasing it down.
Just didn't quite pitch it far enough, but I'll take it.
No, you had a little look when you got up there, did you?
Yeah.
Had a little look at the green?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't want to go left really.
No.
Because there's slopes and there's a drop off right, so below the hole's the best play.
Paul's just surveying his putt. You can see the ridge now here. Paul's sort of bottom of that ridge. Bit unlucky really not to feed down. He's faced with probably 20 foot. Wind is quite blustery and blowing across as well. I think the Paul looks like he's aiming to our right, his left. It's a good putt. Great putt. Just swung late at the hole, didn't it?
Huh? Hey, you can have that.
Pulled in for par.
Okay, Wilbur coming up the hill. Looks like he's got a little bit of break from his right hand side. She goes just a little shy.
Oh, they're going to be quicker than that.
Yeah, well, they're probably going to be a little bit quicker for the event, Will. Yeah, just a little bit harder. That was good. So, got quite a bit of green to work with here, isn't there? There's lots of pin placement options here. Massive ridge right the way across the middle of the green. So, we're going to see some pins tucked up on the top. There's some big runoffs as you come off around the back end as well. So, even though this is a kind of shortish hole, it's got a little bit of danger, hasn't it, around the green?
You can have a couple of funky pins here, I would have thought.
Yeah.
You've got a big plateau up here on the left, so I think anything that's over that area, you're going to have to be, if you miss your tee shot left,
yeah,
you're going to have the really tough pitch over the green. So I think you need to work out where the pin is on this hole before you kind of hit your tee shot.
Yeah, you don't want to almost be too close, do you? Because there'll be some situations where you might get a bit...
I'd say most pins you'd be okay, but there's one or two here they could put on where you, if you miss it in the wrong spot, you're not going to be able to get it closer to it. So.
Okay, hole half.
Hole half.
Right, what have we got here? Neil, what have we got?
So we've got a 460 yard par 4.
Yeah.
Dead straight. Mature trees on the left and the small copse on the right. Now the notes on here says keep it left.
Okay, it gives you probably the best angle into the green, because
does.
Looking at that green there looks like a bit of a drop off just short
and
there,
if
doesn't
the pins here, obviously there must be trouble to come over.
Yeah.
It looks like the fairway kicks left to right.
Okay.
So anything up the left edge of the fairway with the wind, near enough straight
It's
down.
just downwind,
Yeah.
down off the left slightly, I would say.
Anywhere down the left hand edge of the fairway must be pretty good, I think.
Okay. So Paul going with driver. You're hugging left, are you?
It's 410.
410.
The back tee.
Yeah, there is a back tee. So we are coming off a forward tee, but there is a back tee there, which is kind of not really in use. And based on what I had a chat with the greenkeeper about, or the head guy here, Craig, he said that they're going to try and keep the tees maybe a fraction further forward for the event because they want pace of play getting through. They don't want to chuck everybody too far back at this in this event. So that played quite nice for you, Wilbur.
Right, there's winds quite hard off the left and
Down.
with.
Yeah.
So anywhere towards Barnes is quite.
So you're trying to play with the wind, Paul. You're not going to fight it.
I tried to use the wind on tee shots and fight it on approach shots.
Okay.
We'll try anyway.
Okay, just down the left. Just mingling with those trees there. I think you're just far enough past it. You've lost a little bit of yardage there landing in the rough, but I think you're just far enough past it to be okay there.
Just pull pulled it a little bit.
Yeah, fractionally pulled.
Yeah, I'm going to hit it out the buggy, isn't it? Look at the wind.
So Wilbur.
Obviously, don't write that on the notes because the buggy won't be there.
No, we know buggy there. You will. Okay, you can just see Lester down there on the in the buggy. He's up ahead. At that buggy and let it move. Let the wind do the damage. Started at a similar line to Paul, cutting back a bit more. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
That's going through the buggy now.
Here's the buggy.
That is, Bernie's going to have to move that buggy, Wilbur.
Slight misstripe, but I'll take it.
You'll take that, that's good. Wind didn't move it quite as much as I thought it would, but
No.
that's still a good position to be, mate.
It's up the left, yeah.
Yeah, well done. So, Will, do you know much about Harleyford Golf Club? Have you done much research coming into this, just to this point now?
I haven't at all really, no.
Yeah, okay.
Just turning up and just seeing how it is, really.
Seeing how the course is playing and
Yeah.
things like that?
I knew it was a parkland because obviously it was like inland.
Yeah.
That's about it, really.
And moving forward though, I mean, is there anything you kind of thought about now coming up here, you know, chatting with people like Paul and obviously James Root's a good friend of yours as well. Is there anything that you've kind of taken from what they say about preparing yourself for an event like this?
So Paul told me about like practice rounds, like playing with the right people, playing with people who've obviously played the course before.
Yeah.
So I'm probably going to come back up here again and play with someone who's done well in the event, or he's on the EuroPros, played it last year.
Yeah.
Just see how they get around, because obviously we're playing it in these conditions.
Yeah.
Like in 3 weeks' time, it could be a bit more baked. It could be playing totally different.
Completely different, because obviously I know we're at the beginning of May now, but there's just no growth.
No.
It's still, you know, you're wearing a woolly hat. It's still cold.
Yeah, it's chilly. Yeah. So it does affect it. So obviously, if this is baked, it could be an iron off the tee. Whereas like last year, they could be an iron where we're in drive to the same spots.
Yes.
So we'll see.
Not a bad position.
Definitely the better position of, if you've got a choice of left or right, this is the
spot.
side.
So where the course planner has kind of said keep it down the left hand side, you'd say that that's kind of like the way to go.
There's no real rough over here. If you go look over there,
Yeah.
there's rough.
But yeah, it's kind of blocked out as well, isn't it? It's a bit thicker, smaller trees to deal with, but then you've got this big tree here that you've got to go over, I would imagine.
But I think you'll find in a few weeks' time that rough will have grown even more. If we get a bit of warmth in a minute, it's just going to start sprouting, so that's going to be even more of a write-off.
So a little bit, anything short just looks like it wants to kind of funnel back down off that green there. So
looking through the finder, I'm getting 140 pin,
yeah,
and I've just measured the bank short, and that's 130, so I've probably got 10 yards to work with it. So I'm going to hit my 130 club,
yeah,
because I'm down quite a bit of wind.
Yeah, coming out of a bit of rough, but it's not too bad, is it?
Should be okay. It's quite sparse rough, so
yeah, shouldn't get too much of a flyer or low spin off of it.
You've got to watch these branches.
Yeah, you just got to make sure you don't clip those, or not that it's going to interfere. It's just more of a mental thing, isn't it, with players?
From the follow through.
Yeah. Again, lots of green to the left of the flag. I think all the danger right here is going to be just short, so he needs to keep it just up the left, centre of the green. It's gone a bit right.
Sit, sit, sit.
Just needs a bit of bite there. That's okay. Probably a little bit further away than you were possibly hoping, but to be honest with you, that just popped a little bit right on you, didn't it?
It did, and it. I think it's quite bouncy because it's so downwind.
Yeah.
So it wasn't an easy shot, really. It was quite tough coming out the rough.
Wilbur?
115.
115?
Yes.
Okay. Good position up the left-hand side, so well spotted by the caddy.
Did well, yeah.
Yeah, done very well there. You keeping an eye on what happened with Paul's shot there? Was that something in your mind?
Yeah, it stopped. We weren't sure if we could hold the green, so at first we were thinking pitching it short and bouncing it in.
Yes.
And now we've seen his obviously stop up quite quickly with
so
a
that
full
gives you a bit
shot.
of confidence to be able to throw it all the way
yeah,
there.
so I'm going to try and pitch it maybe 4 yards short of the flag, around that sort of mark.
Okay.
There's a lot of space behind.
I was going to say, how much has he got?
20.
He's got 20 paces between flag and the back
flag
of the
and the
green?
back edge of the green.
And what about front to back? Well, front to the middle, what's he got there?
10.
So he's only got 10 paces,
Yeah.
so he's flirting with six paces there, isn't he, at the front? Because I think anything just short is going to be probably a little bit danger there. It's a 56-degree wedge. It's come out a bit pulley, that. Grab a seat, grab a seat. So not his best. Not his best, it's got a little bit of a pull which has hit it a little bit too far.
It's got a putt now straight down the slope. So really get an idea of this green. There's some runoff sort of here. The front is a false front, so that's uphill as well. But look at the size of that green. Again, sort of runs off towards the back. No bunkers yet on the course. There's only 29 bunkers in total. And we haven't seen one yet, so 29 bunkers on the last 16 holes.
Okay, Lester's been talking to you a little bit about the working of this green, but Wilbur's just gone a little bit long and left as we saw. Now he's got a big downhiller from up that point down to this hole is all downhill. Wind is off his right, so it's probably going to play a factor today of the gusts. Pacing out putts, is that something you do, Will?
Well, if I hit it to over 20 foot, I'd say, yeah.
You do try and pace just to give you an idea of...
So I know it's, yes, 36 feet I've got, so...
Okay, so that's for more stats, is it?
A bit of both.
So you're trying to keep stats of how far out you're hitting it, so you can gauge?
There's like a big difference between having a 35 foot putt and a 45 foot putt, but you might not know the difference between here and there to the hole.
Okay.
Neil, do you help Will with the lines at all when he's putting?
Only if he wants it, I think.
Yeah.
He's a great green reader, he's a great putter.
Yeah, totally.
If he's really struggling, then I'll step in and confirm,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't actually give him the line, if that makes sense. So, leave him to it.
Leave it to it.
So Wilbur's got this downhill off of his right. Playing much for the wind, Will? Are you bringing that in as a factor here?
Going to factor it in a little bit.
Just a fraction?
Yeah, it's gusting, so if it's gusts, it's a bit
you can't
unfortunate.
do much. Yeah, I was going to say you can't do much about that.
But it's into wind. I think it's going to factor up the downhill a little bit.
Yeah.
Just trying to get a good roll and get the pace of the greens.
Okay. Again, big green, plenty of space with pin position. There she goes. Probably running a little bit slower than you think at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah.
Paul, when you played on the EuroPro, did you have a caddy or did you tend to do it all yourself?
Did it all myself.
Yeah.
Basically because it just wasn't financially viable to have a caddy at the time. So, but yeah, I like to do stuff for myself really, and if I do have a caddy, I kind of, because I've done it all my life, most of it myself, I kind of trust my own judgment, so I wouldn't really want a caddy kind of interfering. So
No.
I'm kind of the guy who kind of does it himself.
Does it themselves? Yeah, I do.
I think Paul's got this kind of reading pretty straight up there, maybe just...
I mean, the brake is probably fraction right to left, but the wind is hard off the left.
Okay, so you're gonna sort of counterbalance.
Well, yeah, I think you almost the wind is almost more effective today than the actual brakes.
Yeah,
certainly if it's quite flat.
Yeah, and the greens are a little bit slower on the slower.
They're really wind dependent from what I was getting on the putting green. They were just, downwind they're really quick, into wind they're really slow.
Yeah.
The wind is really taking an effect on them.
Travel. Good roll. Got the read pretty much spot on, didn't you? Right. Certainly did move. Will telling him to pick that up. Yeah, Wilbur going with a bit of aim point. Always trying to get a gauge. It's, if you understand aim point, then you understand what he's doing. I'll pop a little link to a video above. You can see what's going on with aim point and what Wilbur's up to. So he's probably read a little bit into it from when he came down that hill. So he's got this line, good sort of couple inches outside his right. Okay, he's got this for the half, so it's going to be nice and positive into wind. There it is. Very good putt.
Making it.
Quite an important part of the game from about that pace in, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah.
For tournament golf.
Yeah, you look at people that win on tour. They're holding those putts every like most of them per round, or 90% of them.
Yeah.
So it's very important.
Well done, boys. All flat. Great putt, dude.
Thanks, dude.
Straight.
Okay, we've moved on to the third hole, and one of the things that Neil and I were just discussing there was the wind direction. Now we've come into what Neil quite referenced to, which is a bit swirling territory. So the wind can start swirling in and around the tree. So you can look at a flag in the distance, which we're looking at now, which is actually flowing or fluttering kind of down to the left. But actually, if you go above the tree line, it's definitely moving from left to right. What can you do? What can we do in order to prepare ourselves for this?
Well, look at the wind forecast before you play, obviously.
Brilliant.
There's a main one, because it's on the course guide. There is
yeah, there is a little compass. So
on every hole.
On the first hole.
Yeah. You making
it? Hole is. So the wind's coming southeasterly.
Yeah.
So I've literally flicked to here.
Yeah.
And southeasterly is
straight into that position. So
that
there.
way, even though the flag's blowing downwind,
yeah.
The wind.
Paul, let's have a look at your map as well.
I've got the wind out of the northwest today.
Have you?
Hmm.
Okay, so let's have a look.
But I put it on the map of the golf course
at the back.
Kind of, but you can do it.
Oh,
anyway.
you're right. I'm going the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm blowing northwest to southeast.
Yeah, but you've got it right on the actual thing.
Yeah,
yes,
right on there.
So there's a good one there as well, isn't there? And this is something that on the tour you might find that they'll give you a wind chart as well, Will. They certainly on the European tour, but give you a wind chart. And I used to just draw a line straight through the middle of the golf course, just to give you a bit of an idea, so you can refer to it.
You can do it if there's a compass on every page of every hole, then you can put it on that page, or you just put it on the map, depending on what you've got.
Prevailing wind then. What is the prevailing wind for here?
Prevailing wind is southwest generally in the UK.
Okay, so this is going to be slightly different, isn't it? Today, compared to possibly what the prevailing wind will be in the tournament. So again, really important to make yourselves aware of that when you're doing preparing for each round.
But also the wind does change.
Big time, yeah.
So it's like looking at clouds as well in the sky when they're blowing. That always helps.
That's something you work with, is it?
Sometimes, yeah. Always just have a little look above. And you can see it's coming just down off the left. So.
Sun's coming out. Lovely, Wilbur.
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully the hat's coming off.
210 yards into this hole. Again, I think we're going to start to see lots and lots of runoffs all the way around this golf course, around the greens. What club have you got?
I've got a 4-iron.
4-iron?
It carries about 200 yards from me.
Okay, so if you can get it onto the front edge and let it release up.
Yeah.
There's 2 bunkers front right, isn't there?
Yeah.
Just making sure you get enough to get over those is kind of a thought.
Yeah. I'm going to try and hit it at Barnsley, really.
Okay.
There, because the wind is off of that. So anywhere just left of the pin is kind of what I'm trying
and then let it work from there.
Let the wind bring it round.
A little tug down the left-hand side. Just seeing that down behind that stump there. Not ideal, but you've got a bit of green to work with on the chip. Wilbur, what have you got in here?
I've got 5-iron.
5-iron?
Yeah. I'm going to start it like left side of the green.
Okay, left side of the green. Again, very similar to where Leicester's standing.
Yeah. Stands in the perfect spot.
He does.
I haven't practiced.
He's a spotter. Okay, Wilbur just can hit a pretty straight one, let the wind do its thing for him. Just started it up the left. Not quite got the strike he wanted there, so it's going to leak a bit. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Yeah, that's okay, Will. Didn't quite get into the runoff, did it? That's all right. No, it just wasn't quite the strike, was it?
I struck it nicely.
Did you?
Yeah,
just seemed like it's a bit squeezy, but yeah. Now, as a course manager yourself, you know that this is just a little bit of a wear area off the edge of the green, and is obviously, because we haven't had any growth at this moment in time, the green staff are struggling everywhere, aren't they?
Yeah, they will be. Yeah, we're starting to get a bit of rain now.
Yeah,
but we need it then to get a bit warmer.
Warmer, and it's still fresh. I mean, it's still cold, isn't it? So we're not getting too much growth at the moment, which is why we're going to get a few bare patches around the course, which is where Paul has kind of ended up to the left-hand side. Not an easy shot. Got this big mound here to deal with. Green is all running away from him. What are you thinking?
Got to play with a lot of loft.
Yeah.
Obviously I can't, the lie isn't perfect, so I can't really lob it too high because it's a bit too risky. So I'm going to play it with as much loft as I can with the lie. Yeah. And then I'm going to try and just get it to land as soft as I can on that downslope and just hope it pulls up just short of the pin if I can. Yeah. But it's not a great missing it left here because the green is away from you. So
yeah, it's not the best miss, you're right. So this is what I would call a short-sided position, really. Just kind of playing it as close as he can. .58°, just opening up a fraction and playing it with plenty of loft. That's a great golf shot, that. Again, watch Paul, he's watching the whole time as that ball worked its way past the pin. He's always sort of looking at where the ball ends up, so he's watching it feed, so he's going to get a good read for his putt coming back up the hill from there. It's a really, really good trait to have.
Just came up slightly right and slightly short pin high. Probably facing a 15-yard chip. Probably got to go 3 or 4 foot onto the green and just let it feed down the hole.
Got a decent bit of green to work with, more loft he's gone with, so he's gone floatier. Not happy with that, didn't quite throw it far enough. He could have probably, with the amount of loft he had, he could have almost thrown it up to where that ball is anyway. Just a little short there, Wilbur.
It was almost set up too well.
Was it?
Yeah, it was literally like on a tee.
Scouting it out.
pretty straight. I've got an instinct it might go a little bit left, but it's not going to be much. It's not going to be far straight.
No, going pretty straight at it.
I just favour the right fraction.
Favouring the right side of the hole.
Maybe, yeah, just a little bit.
Wind going to play a factor there, Paul?
It's pretty much straight into wind.
Is it? Yeah.
A little bit sheltered here.
Okay, going up the hill. Got a lot of bowls around us, so a lot of high spot here, high spot behind, so it's going to shelter Paul a little bit with the wind, is what he said. Outside the right he's gone now, that's not coming back from there. No. Okay, Wilbur's going to give him that. Okay, Wilbur.
Well, after watching Paul's chip come down, it did move to the left slightly.
Yeah, you were keeping an eye on that?
Yeah,
very smart, mate. Well done.
Give a little idea. I'm
going
to go right edge.
Right edge for Will. And slightly uphill, so he can be on the positive side.
Uphill into wind.
Yeah. Quite moved. That moved a lot, didn't it?
Yours didn't
that moved a lot.
Yeah, it moved. Yours went the other way.
So again, having a few practice swings. Now, when it comes to holes, Paul, so I've noticed that you boys haven't really been having too many practice sort of chips and putts and stuff like that. When you get to a hole like this is more likely, your percentage-wise, you're going to miss this green more often than certainly the first two holes. So are you sort of going to think about that when it comes to practicing? Are you going to sort of start doing some chips?
If I was playing the tournament here, I'd definitely be around this green chip.
This is the green that you beat, and again, even though this is practice round and we're 2 weeks before the actual event,
yeah, are
you doing that more as you're right at the event, or are you doing it?
The closer you get to the event, the more important it is to get a feel for the greens and the roughs, because it could still change a little bit between now and now. The conditions, it could get softer, it could get drier, the greens could get quicker, it could get hotter. So the closer you are to that day of teeing off for the first day, the more important it is to get the feel of everything. But you certainly should be scouting around at the moment, looking where to miss it, where not to.
Yeah, we've already, me and Neil have had a discussion about it, and we've already decided that the miss is actually short, because you've got runoffs to the right that actually go into a ditch.
Yeah.
Like left's okay, Yeah. Still not great.
Landing on a downslope.
So we're thinking like just short of the green or front edge is your miss. Like front bunker's not bad at all.
No, you're going to get control out of the bunker,
exactly,
aren't you?
Yeah. So if the pin's at the back, we're going to play for the middle or the front.
Okay. Right, that ends part 1. We will see you all again tomorrow for part 2, 6 o'clock. Don't be late.